Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are going to talk about one of the most tragic stories of Star Wars gaming. A really high potential project that never quite worked out the way it should have. And that's Star Wars Galaxies, the MMO from the early 2000s, a staple of Star Wars gaming in the PC community during that time. Star Wars Galaxies was released as bringing an open world and an open imagination into Star Wars. And man, it really accomplished that. I mean, this game did a lot of things that other MMOs never even attempted, and some that really haven't been implemented the same way even to this day. I have fond memories of playing this game when it first released, but like many other fans, as the game went through changes and things that really weren't great for the overall health of the game, it unfortunately reached a very slow and painful death with less and less users until it finally faded from existence entirely. Now, it has been brought back. There are fans that are running a unofficial server where you can still experience the game, but it's not quite the same as it was that when the game first came out. It was so imaginative with the level of control that you had over your character and your path in the Star Wars galaxy was really cool. All of these different skills and different paths you could follow, from architecture to growing different crops to being a bounty hunter, different stores and shops you could open to sell your materials. And a lot of the game was farming materials and different things that you need to build or craft whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that model really worked for a long time. It really gave players a sense of immersion in the Star Wars universe that really hasn't been done before or since. And to say that this game was ahead of its time would be a bit of an understatement. And like I said, there's a lot of MMOs and games that haven't even attempted that level of detail. And even though the game may not have been built for the long run of being able to sustain that, I think they had more ideas and concepts for the game than they really knew how to implement. And that led to some poor decision making on the parts of the developers, unfortunately. The Jedi Holocron update really was the beginning of the end for the game, where players were basically abandoning their previous skill paths in hopes of grinding out holocrons to become Jedi, which really made the worlds feel empty and hollow and just created an unbalanced system where instead of having this player driven economy where so many different people are doing so many different things and it's creating this really immersive world, it kind of just became some bounty hunters and then Jedi, and that's it. And that doesn't make for a very fun experience when your only goal is to go in and grind holocrons. Just saying. And the combat updates weren't exactly great either, but the game never had tremendous combat, but it never really improved. It kind of went the opposite direction. That also hurt the game. And then when the Old Republic MMO emerged, that was kind of basically the official end of Star Wars Galaxies, as the last servers were shut down. But when we revisit this game, this is something that really needs to be remade using some of those same ideas because it really works. The idea works. It was just the execution that wasn't up to standard. And players can recognize when a game has potential and when a game fulfills its potential. And when it comes to Star Wars Galaxies, it's just it's just a shame. That's the only thing I can say about it. As much fun as the game was, it just never lived up to what it really could have been. But I think with the right people in charge and the right amount of time spent to get these systems right, I think a revamp of the game would be really exciting and would be something that would draw in a lot of Star Wars fans, both old and new. for people that just want to dive into the galaxy and be a part of an economy and have a good time. I think player customization and the ability to have your own ship and have your own path that you walk in the Star Wars universe is just really fun. People love that level of control over their characters in a game. We're so used to an era where games give you a set character where yeah, you can change a lightsaber color, you can change a hairstyle, but you're really following a linear path and the character itself is a separate character that's not really your creation. But it's different when you actually can create your own character and put them in a different version of the Star Wars universe. And there's different time periods now that this game could explore. At the time, this was at the end of the prequels coming out, but there's a much larger universe that can be adapted into the game. And I respect the fact that the game had a lot of original trilogy assets, but with Knights of the Old Republic game, which is the current Star Wars MMO, which just isn't the same. It's still fun. I'll do a video on that game soon, but there's a lot of material they could pull to really tie it all together to make a really, really perfected Star Wars MMO. And I really hope to see that. Um, Star Wars Galaxies, a fun footnote in the history of Star Wars, but more remembered for lost potential and unfortunate changes that really ended a game that was a really solid idea. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Star Wars Galaxies. If you have any memories playing it or have any thoughts, let me know in the comments below. Just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And as always, may the force be with you. Now let's blow up that like button and go home.